Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We're from a group in civic education class for Mr. Herman, and today we're gonna present SDG 1 at Kampung Kalicode, Yogyakarta, and how Riverside Settlement, once branded Islam, became a model of dignity-centered, community-driven poverty alleviation. And then we're gonna introduce each member of the group. So me, I'm Aurel Huntara or Aurel from architecture.
My name is Amir Zamaraputra or Amir. I'm from architecture.
And I'm Belva Ghazani Fauzi from chemistry.
And I'm Asri Sifaulima Fisudur from chemistry.
And I'm Artisanal Kaisa from chemistry.
I'm Aulia Mutiara Rahman from electrical engineering.
My name is Hanif from architecture district.
So first, a little bit of background. What is SDG 1, no poverty? So this is the goal one of the UN's 7 Sustainable Development Goals. And this is developed in 2015. This calls for ending poverty in all its forms, everywhere, by 2030. It looks beyond income alone. It's also secure housing, land rights, access to basic services, and the ability of poor and vulnerable communities to withstand the shocks, such as floods and other disasters, and also in the economic ones. That broader definition is exactly why informal Riverside Kampung is such a fitting case study, because the poverty is not just about the income. So there are three targets that is we focus on. The first one is to reduce at least half of the proportion of people who is living in poverty in all its dimensions. The second one, to ensure the poor have equal rights to economic resources, services, and land or property. And the third one, to build the resilience of the poor to climate, economic, and environmental shocks. And next one, the poverty often has a riverside address, especially in urban areas, because as Indonesian cities grew quickly after the independence, many low-income immigrants or residents without formal housing options to settle on riverbanks, or we call it Bantaran Kali, because that land was unregulated, flood-prone, and legally unrecognized. These settlements lack electricity, sanitation, and secure tenure, and were routinely at risk of eviction by the government. This pattern, repeated across many Indonesian cities, including Yogyakarta, is precisely why the gap SDG 1 targets aim to close. There are this is in 2025. There are 23.39 million people of Indonesian national poverty rate. So the Indonesian national poverty rate stood at 8.25%, with urban poverty at 6.60%, which is the exact demographic that we covered, the Riverside Kampung of Kalicode. And next.
So, what is Kampung Kali? So, Kampung Kali sits along the Chode River in the heart of Yogyakarta, Java, Indonesia. It's a waterway that begins on the slopes of Mountain Merapi and runs straight to the city, through the city. So, the history from 1945 until 1950, it's a mass post-independence migration. Families without formal housing built settlers along the riverbanks. And then around 1960s until 1970s, the settlements grows into a unrecognized flood-prone slum, centuries of cardboard and scarp, no electricity or sanitation. And in 1983, the city government proposed clearing the riverbank for a green zone, threatening eviction of the entire community. So, who live in the Kampung Kaya Chode? So, the residents were largely informal workers with no fallback safety net, scavengers or pemulung, street musician or pengamen, pedicab drivers, and street vendors, living below the poverty line without legal recognition of their homes.
Romo Mangun's Community First Solution. The Catholic priest, architect, and social advocate Y.B. Mangunwijaya, known locally as Romo Mangun, opposed the 1983 eviction plan and went on a hunger strike until the government withdrew. He then moved into the kampung himself and led a resident-driven redevelopment rather than a top-down relocation. And his approach focused on the three main aspects. First is Bina Manusia or human development, rebuilding residents' confidence and dignity, helping people who had been dismissed as slum dwellers see themselves as capable citizens. Second is Bina Lingkungan or environmental development, redesign homes with affordable resident-built bamboo architecture and organizing the riverbank into a safer, more livable layout. And third is Bina Sosial or social development, building resident cooperation and share responsibility. The community, not an outside contractor, maintain and govern the kampung.
So, from slum to global model, the resident-led redevelopment of North Kampung Chode did not just save the community from eviction, it became an internationally cited example of dignified low-cost urban housing. The first in 1983 evacuation plan cancelled after resident led resistance and Robo Mangun's hunger strikes. And the second one is 1980 North Kampung Chode rebuilt with residents' participation and affordable bamboo housing. And the third is the third in 1992 wins the Aga Khan Award from Architecture, international recognition for human-centered design. And the last one, in today, legality recognized thriving riverside kampung now works with for its rainbow painting homes.
What began as crisis response is now a self-sustaining local economy. Kampung Citisarjo, part of the wider Kali Chode area, is now an established kampung wisata tourism village run by residents themselves. At homestays, residents open their own rainbow paint homes as guides homestays, turning existing housing directly into household income. And Sekolah Sungai, a community river school that teaches river stewardship and environmental education to residents and visiting students. Across Jelajah Kampung, reservation-based walking tour along the river bank led by local residents acting as guides for visiting group. Pasar Minggon, a weekly Sunday marketing where residents sell homegrown UMKM, small business product, wood, craft, and household goods.
So connecting practice to the target, we have three targets in here. First, target 1.4, focus on equal rights to economic resource, including access to land and housing in Kampung Kalijodo. Legal recognition of the settlement and secure land tenure replaced the constant threat of eviction. As a result, residents were able to build and own affordable housing themselves. Target 1.4, resilient to shocks, organized riverbank layout and the ongoing Sekolah Sungai, reduce flood vulnerability, and build lasting environmental stewardship. The last target is target 1.2, reducing poverty in practice, homestay, guide tours, and Pasar Minggon convert an existing community asset, the river and the kampung itself, into steady household income.
What makes this practice work? The success of the Kampung Kalijodo model is rooted in four transformative principles that shift the community from marginalization to self-sufficiency. The first is community ownership, not relocation. Rather than being displaced by top-down government plans, residents were empowered to redesign and rebuild their own neighborhood. Dignity-centered design, the reconstruction of homes and public space was a collaborative process. This approach was designed to restore pride and confidence in residents who had been dismissed as slum dwellers, treating them as capable citizens rather than just providing basic shelter. And then sustained income over 1/8. The model focused on long-term financial stability by establishing homestay, guided tours, and weekly market. The community requiring household income rather than relying on temporary handout. Local knowledge as an asset. Residents turn their deep familiarity with the river, previously seen as vulnerability, into strength. This knowledge become the foundation for the Sekolah Sungai or river school and guided tours. And then for the conclusion, Kampung Kalijodo serves as a global model for dignity-centered, community-driven poverty alleviation. Is a transformation proof that addressing poverty requires looking beyond income to include secure housing, land right, and resilience to environment shocks. By aligning with specific SDG 1 target, this project has achieved the following: target 144 and target 1.5, and last target 1.2. Kalijodo demonstrate that the most effective way to end poverty is to value community agency and local knowledge, transforming a slum into a thriving, recognized neighborhood. Thank you, everyone, and Assalamualaikum.
Udah,
Udah.
oke.
Jangan lupa videonya tadi masukin ke Google Drive atau YouTube ya.
Oke.
Berarti ini
Apa?
apa ya? Kita satu link aja kan?
Iya,
Iya.
pakai